Well, okay. Right now there are only 7 participants. Now 8 participants. Good afternoon, Rosina Umar teacher. Please unmute your audio.
Sorry, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Rosina teacher, where are you from?
I'm from Malappuram.
Malappuram.
Chammad.
Okay. And happy to see your faces online. That because many are not switching on their videos. Okay. It will be comfortable for me to see you and tell you something. That's all. Because otherwise
Yes,
it
sir.
becomes too formal. That's why. Right. I hope others also switch on the videos. Many are hesitating to switch on the videos. Audio you may mute because whenever you only unmute only whenever you need to respond. Uh, Yesterday we have anyway we can't wait for long for others to join. Let them join, and welcome back to the session. Yesterday we have discussed a few basic things about standard 5 English teaching. Okay, only a few basic things. We have discussed the basic principles, the basic theories, and also the psychological background on which the textbooks are developed. Well, you needn't worry about the terms and all. You needn't worry about too much concerned about constructivism, okay, and all. There are many theories like this: constructivism, social constructivism, etc. But forget about it. We need only to remember the process that we do in the classroom. Okay. But remember, these processes are based on certain scientific assumptions, certain principles, certain theories. So we are expected to follow the process strictly in the classroom. Okay. And well, of course, when you follow the process, you have all the freedom to innovate on that. Okay. You can all the freedom to add your ideas, innovations, and extra activities. Okay. And sometimes live and on the spot activities, all are possible. But still, the basic processes are not to be dispensed with. They are to be followed because they are designed based on scientific assumptions. Please remember that, okay? So we have discussed how to process a story in the class. I told you, let the learners read what a particular part of the story individually. And before that, before you lead the learners to read the story individually, you have to interact properly with the learners and lead the learners to the theme of that story. Okay. Then the learners will be interested in reading the story. And after that, you may use the questions given in the margin as well. After that, you may come to the activities. Uh, there are 2 discourse activities in that lesson. That is a conversation between the fisherman and his wife, and a skit based on the story. I told you the conversation is to be written by the learner individually first. Then, if it is in the classroom, they may share their individual writing in a group and develop a better one in the group. Let the group present their better version of the discourse in the whole class. After that, you take one group product and attempt an editing of that product in the whole class. In the whole class, you're not attempting to edit each and every learner's writing. Instead, you may attempt to edit one group discourse addressing the whole class, and that editing will give other learners also evidences of error-free English. Okay, so that is what editing process is for. And after the editing, the teacher has to present a teacher's version. A teacher's version. It is not for nothing that we say teacher is a co-learner. Teacher is not, the role of the teacher is not just instruct or teach the learner. Teacher is a co-learner as well. And in the modern context, teacher is a facilitator. That is, in this constructivist classroom, teacher is a facilitator. That means teacher is a person who provide opportunities, proper environments for the learners to carry out activities or to face challenges and solve problems. So in that way, a teacher is a facilitator. But in the present context, teacher is not only a facilitator, she is a mentor. That means she is a very close associate of the learner, especially in the period of pandemic. Close associate of a learner who take into account the emotional and creative aspects of a learner. Okay, that is so. Such the teacher is elevated to such a role in the present context. She is to be a mentor for the learner. So these are the basic things you should remember. So we have discussed two processes in detail now. Processing a text in the class. Let it be a story, let it be a poem, or let it be any discourse. So that we have discussed. And processing a discourse. As I have told you, these stories and poems are inputs. They are not just inputs, they are comprehensible inputs. That means inputs which are comprehensible for the fifth standard learner. If not, sometimes you may feel that, suppose if it is not understandable, comprehensible for all the learners, what shall we do? So let them get the main ideas, the central ideas of a text. If it is a story, central ideas, the main characters, the main events. Okay, you may interact with these learners, that means low proficient learners, and elicit the central ideas. Okay, the main idea, who are the characters, where does the story take place, for example, and what are the events? How do they live? They are living alone. Do they have? They do not have any modern gadgets. No newspaper, no radio, no TV, no hairbrush, not even toothbrush, not even buckets, and not even a mirror. So these are the central ideas. And what happens later on? That also are part of the story. So you elicit from the low proficient learners properly to get the central ideas. So these are the things that we are expected to do in the classrooms. So you know that no group activities, no collaborative activities are possible in this stay-at-home period. Okay, so that you have to end up with all individual activities, individual learning, individual reading, and individual writing of discourses. Still, you can do one thing. After all the learners write the discourses individually, you may present your teacher's version. That is what teacher's version called. You present teacher's version to the learners. Okay? Teacher's version to the learners. Right? Then all the learners will get a model or get ample evidences of how to write a conversation. I hope you get it. Yes. If you want, if you want to see a sample teacher's version, I will show you. 1 minute. Look at this. The conversation between, I hope you are watching it. The conversation between the fisherman and his wife. This is a sample teacher's version. It need not be the same, exactly the same. You can write your own sample versions, sample teacher's versions. Remember, that should be error-free, okay, with proper punctuations and proper word order, etc. I hope you are reading, yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You just go through it. So take this as a very important process. That is, after each discourses, after the learner writing each discourses on his own, present a teacher version like this. I hope you got the idea.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's it. So let's, okay. Now, let's go to the next part of it. The next one is another story. That is an extended reading. In the first unit, we shall discuss the rest of the first unit. Extended reading. This extended reading part is for a free reading for the learner. Okay, free reading for the learner. Sometimes you may think, you may wonder if a standard 5 learner can read this. All the standard 5 learner can read this story. Well, if they cannot read, let them read with the help of their parents. Okay, let them read with the help of their parents. The story, The Magic Mirror. Let them read it. And if that also is not possible, sometimes if parents also can't help, what shall we do? Then you can take this as a listening text. Listening text. You need not process this learning, free reading, extended reading at the time of the class. Let the learner read at his leisure time, in his leisure time, whenever he likes. Okay. And But or if the learner can't read on his own, let him seek the help of his parents. And if that also is not possible, in the next class, in the coming class, you may, possible or not, you may give a loud reading of this story. It should be in the form of storytelling, in the mode of storytelling. You know, storytelling is an art. You know that.
Yes, sir.
Present this in the mode of a storytelling with proper tone variation, gestures, expressions, and all, if possible. Then, after reading the story, you may go for an interaction with the learners. You interact with the learners with a few questions. Okay, that is to check whether they have comprehended the story or whether they have listened to this story. It is to check the learner's comprehension. So you build up an interaction. As I told you, all these kinds of interactions are called teacher talk. And teacher talk is a very significant input that the learner gets. See, in principle, what do we call this approach? The whole teaching learning approach of second language pedagogy, we call it cognitive interactionist approach. This is a scientific name of the approach that we follow in teaching English in the UP classes. Cognitive interactionist approach. See, language learning is a cognitive activity. That means it is about the activity of a brain. It is something that happens in the brain. And interactionist, because language develops through interactions. Language develops through interaction. You know, that is in our cases also, it is the same. Because where do we use our language most lively in day-to-day life? Where do we use any language, for that matter, Malayalam? Where do we use Malayalam in our day-to-day life?
In family.
In fact, that means in our talks.
Yes.
In our talks, in our interaction with others. It is there that we use this language very lively. Okay. And nowadays, you know, as live interaction in the open society is not that much possible, a new device or new platform has developed in the social media. Do you know that? Do you know that? ഇന്നിപ്പോ പൊതുസമൂഹത്തിലും അല്ലെ പൊതു ഇടങ്ങളിലും വലിയ ഇന്ററാക്ഷൻസിന് അതിന്റെ പോസിബിലിറ്റി വല്ലാതെ അങ്ങ് കുറഞ്ഞു പോയി. നമുക്ക് ആരോട് സംസാരിക്കാൻ പോയിരുന്ന ഒരുപാട് നേരം സംസാരിക്കാൻ വഴിയില്ല. അപ്പോ ഒരു സോഷ്യൽ മീഡിയയിലെ പുതിയൊരു പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോം ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്തു. എന്താണത് അറിയാമോ? ഫേസ്ബുക്ക് പോലെ വാട്സപ്പ് പോലെ പുതിയൊരു പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോം ഉണ്ട് ഇപ്പോ. എന്താണ്? ഇന്ററാക്ഷൻസിന് വേണ്ടി. കേട്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ? ഹലോ, കേട്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ? കേട്ടിട്ടില്ല.
Yes, sir, but I don't know the name for it. Can't remember.
Clubhouse. Have you heard about that? Clubhouse.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
This is an online platform. This is an app, Clubhouse. Online platform for anybody to come into groups and interact. It is an audio interactive platform. You can choose any topic, any subject with any group around the world. and enter that room. It is a room we call. അങ്ങനെ പലപ്പോഴും ആളുകളൊക്കെ ഇങ്ങനെ ഓരോ മുറിയിലും സ്ഥലത്തൊക്കെ ഇരുന്നിട്ടാണല്ലോ ഇന്ററാക്ട് ചെയ്യുക. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഇതിനും റൂംസ് എന്നാണ് പറയുക. ആ റൂമിലേക്ക് കയറി ഇരുന്നിട്ട് പിന്നെ ആളുകളുമായിട്ട് സംസാരിക്കാം. നമുക്ക് പരിചയമൊന്നും വേണമെന്നില്ല, പരിചയം ഇല്ലാതെ തന്നെ നമുക്ക് കയറാം, നമുക്ക് വെറുതെ കേട്ടിരിക്കാം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആ സംഭാഷണത്തിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കാം. സോ അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ ആയി മാറി. ഇതാരാണ് ഈ വാട്ട് ഫെസിലിറ്റേറ്റഡ് ദിസ് കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോംസ്? It is this pandemic. And that is why we say when a pandemic or when a disaster comes, we should learn to make it as opportunities. വലിയ ഡിസാസ്റ്റേഴ്സും പാൻഡമിക്കും ഒക്കെ വരുമ്പോൾ അതിനെ അവസരങ്ങളാക്കി എടുക്കുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ് നമുക്ക് ചെയ്യാനുള്ളത്. വേറെ ഒന്നും ചെയ്യാനില്ല. അതിനെ അവസരങ്ങളാക്കി മാറ്റിയെടുക്കുക. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് വാട്ട് പീപ്പിൾ ആർ ഡൂയിങ്. ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത് അത് തന്നെയാണ്. Or so controlled a life into possibilities of interacting online, okay, participating in classes online. So that's it. So I'm telling you, interaction, what I'm trying to reiterate here is interaction is one of the most important inputs that the learner gets, or interaction is one of the most important process in which a language grows. ഒരു ഭാഷ, ഒരു കുട്ടിയുടെ ഭാഷ വളരുന്നത് ഇന്ററാക്ഷൻസിലൂടെയാണ്. ആ ഇന്ററാക്ഷൻസ് എത്രത്തോളം ലൈവ് ആകുന്നു അത്രയും വളരും. അതാണ്. സോ ഓക്കെ, സോ ലെറ്റ് ദ ലേണേഴ്സ് റീഡ് ദ story on their own. This is a story, Magic Mirror. There is a boy and a girl finds a magic mirror, and when they could enter that magic mirror, and when they enter the magic mirror, they reach a wonderful place, a beautiful forest. There they reach, and that is a free world. There they find a horse, Pegasus, and the children asked to take them with the horse, and the horse go to home, and there also they are find a mirror there, and Pegasus say, if you get in this mirror, you can go back home. Okay. See, this is a fantasy story. You know very well that children like fantasies very much. Okay. And these fantasy stories kindle the imagination of children very much. കുട്ടികളുടെ ഈ ഭാവനയെ കിൻഡിൽ ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു സാധനമാണ് ഈ ഫാന്റസി സ്റ്റോറി. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഇത് കൊടുത്തത്. ഓക്കെ, ലെറ്റ് ദം റീഡ് ഇറ്റ്, ആൻഡ് ആഫ്റ്റർ ദാറ്റ് ദേ മേ check how well they read. There is an activity. They are asked to what reached in the story. They are asked to fill up with those places. So when you present this activity, you know, you can, how to do the activity, but it is not enough. When you process this activity, give the learners proper instructions to do the activities. Okay. Give the learners proper instructions which will help them to do these activities. Okay. That is what when you should remember when you present an activity. Okay. Now next is what a poem, a small poem, Mirror, Mirror. Okay. It's written by Madhuri Savant, a North Indian writer. Okay, Mirror, Mirror. Now, you may recall the video you have seen yesterday. The animals looking into the mirror, and their illusion as they are seeing another animal. Okay, do you remember that?
Yes,
Do you
sir.
remember? Yes. Okay. Here also, it is in a different dimension, this form. Okay. Now, how will you introduce this form? There is a picture. Okay. There is a picture. What do you see that? What do you see in the picture? What do you see in the picture?
Girl is looking at the
Girl
mirror.
is looking into the
A
mirror.
girl. And what is the girl doing?
She's looking into the mirror.
Looking at and what is she seeing in the mirror?
Her own image.
Her own image. Okay.
Yes.
And what is the expression of that image?
She's happy. She's smiling.
She's happy. She's smiling. She's happy. Okay. This is how a mirror reflects. But here, this girl wants. Okay. You may ask the learners also. What do you see always in the mirror? Okay. When you look at the mirror, what do you see? Okay. You may ask the learners a tricky question like this. When you look at the mirror, do you expect something more to see? What could be the answer? When you look in the mirror, do you expect something more to see in the mirror? Mirror? Okay, let me ask the question to you. Do you
Beautiful.
expect? Yeah.
Look
You want
more-
to you want to see more beautiful.
Yes.
Okay. And when you look into the mirror, after looking into the mirror, you will adjust your hair. Okay. You'll comb your hair once again, and you will put your dress right. Okay. Straight. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes you will put on some mascara, right? Sometimes you will use some powder, face powder, like that. So you
We
are
want to
expecting
look
something more. But even do you expect even more than that? That is what this girl is asking to the mirror. Okay, let us see. So like that, you interact with the learners. Okay, you may interact with the learners. And what does this girl expect to see in the mirror? Okay, then ask the learners to read the poem individually. Then they will understand, oh, she's asking for something more. Okay, what is she asking for? She is asking the mirror to display her courage, her knowledge, her voyage, her message, her passage, her ways. Okay, her paths. Passage means in the sense path. She wants to know that. So she wants something more than beauty, something more than good looks. Okay, she wants her courage to reflect. She wants to see how courageous she is. Like that, you may reflect, you may interact with the learners. The learner may read the poem individually, and you may interact with the learners on the ideas and let them respond. And after that, you may give a loud reading of the poem. Okay. That is enough for a standard 5 learner. That is enough. And you may not insist too much to fix an idea with the learners. The learners may have a different idea what the mirror reflects, or what he or she wants the mirror reflects. They may have different ideas. Let them have that different ideas. That is their freedom. Okay. Well, it is for standard 5 children. We know we have limitations. Even if at all, I want to see my naughtiness in the mirror. If any boy things like that, let them think. So these are possibilities. These are possibilities you can provide for the learner. to interpret the poem. Even though small poem, it is small poem, they are small children, let them interpret in a small way. That's enough. So a few questions are given there, and a few riddles. As part of activity, a few riddles are given. In the first, there is a riddle given, and the learner is asked to complete the riddle. And that riddle, it is easy for the learner to complete the first riddle. Isn't it? The first riddle, won't that learner complete the riddle? See, this is the riddle. I am plain, but I am true. When you cry, I never laugh. When you laugh, I never cry. When you are cool, I am not. Let them complete. When you are hot, I am not. Okay. When you're cool, I'm not hot. That's all. You can think of that. When you're happy, dash. When dash happy. Let them complete. See, remember, mirror is a widely used metaphor by writers. Okay, there is a poem written by, you might have heard about her name, I don't know. There's a poem written by Sylvia Plath, English writer. Sylvia Plath, Mirror. Okay. So it's a widely used metaphor. Mirror is also a metaphor. You need not tell all these terms to the learners because it's a standard 5 learner. There is no need of telling him about metaphor and all. Okay. Now, in the second activity, the learner is asked to write his own riddle. Examples are given. Okay, let him write his own riddle. And next is a few language activities also are given. Okay, here in this activity, language activity 3, a language element activity is given. But that language element activity is not introduced to the learners in terms of grammar terms. Okay, no grammar terms are used. You are providing only an experience of an item, that's all. Here, the item is the conjunction and. Conjunction and, that you know. But you need not tell this is conjunction, this is joining word, nothing of that sort. And here, a process is given for the learner to experience how and is used in sentences. That's മാത്രം provide ചെയ്യുന്നത്. Only to sensitize. Don't need to insist that the learner should learn the rules of a conjunction, rules of a joining word. Not at all. You just give it as an experience. That's all. And another activity also is given. It is a short poem. A few words are underlined, and these words, they can find these words in the textbook as well. So what we have done here is a few words. It is only for an experience. This also is only for an experience. A few words are highlighted here. And these few words are words from the textbook, the story. Okay? The story, the mirror. Okay. And you're asking to find the meaning of these words. Find the meaning of these words. And also use these words in their own sentences. Okay. Now, let me tell you one thing more. Whatever the learners do, that is discourse, writing the discourses, doing the activities, and referring to the dictionaries, and all are put together or taken together as learner's portfolio. Okay, learner's portfolio.
Okay, sir.
There will be errors, there will be correction. No, don't go for individual corrections with your readings. Okay, you can assess, of course, but don't go for individual correction, but you go for what refinement of the language through a series of processes as editing, interaction, teacher's version, presentations, and extended reading. All these are processes through which the learner refine his language, better his language. Okay, and direct correction will never better the language of the learner. Okay, so remember that. So another activity also is given, another language activity, and activity 5. Okay, right? Then here, his, her, their, my, our, your, etc. All these are possessive cases of pronouns. You know that. These are possessive cases of his, possession, shows possession, her, shows possession. Cases of pronouns. Pronounsന്റെ വേറൊരു വെറൈറ്റിയാണ്. അപ്പൊ അതൊന്നും ഇവിടെ പറയുന്നില്ല. Okay. Nothing of that sort is discussed here, but these words are presented in meaningful context. In the context of a shop with the title Everybody's Business. Okay, everybody's business. And in the modern context, it can be a mall or it can be a supermarket. Okay, everybody's. So it is to what to suggest the nature of this activity, that it is that everybody's business. That also is possessive case. Everybody's also is a possessive case. So it is to suggest this thing that the title is given like that. So activity is given there. Present this as an experience. Present this as an experience. Let them understand the context. Let them enjoy the context well. Okay. Then another context also, another discourse is given next. And in that discourse, the learners are asked to use these words on their own. Okay, understand. So what is happening here? They understand these words in a meaningful context, and they are asked to use these words in meaningful contexts. So this is the way it is processed or it is designed. So it is in such a way that you should interact with the learners and introduce these activities to the learners. Okay, next one, another activity also is given, another language activity. This is article, actually articles. And these articles also are presented in meaningful contexts. They are presented in meaningful context, and they are asked to identify from the context all these words in a table, and then they are given another context in which this can be used. So this is why we say we are presenting grammar in context. Presenting grammar in context, not rule-based, not graded. Okay, it is not in a graded way. It is not a rule-oriented grammar teaching, but grammar items are presented in meaningful context. Context, and that too relevant in the context of the text, that is of the stories, the poems used in the units. So this is how very meaningfully these grammar items are introduced. Okay, well, that's all. And again, there is a picture of a procession there. There also, what that also is a part of that activity. Picture of a procession is there, and let the learners look at the procession and what is happening in the procession. Who are there? Where is the man? The man sitting. Where is the man sitting? We will naturally ask, where is the man sitting? What is he holding in his hand? He is holding holding an umbrella. So it comes naturally. When you interact like this, these items come naturally, and they are presented in meaningful context. Okay, so that's it. Next is a game. That is, you can understand the game when you go through it, and let them do this. This can be possible only in the classroom. This can be possible only in a classroom, and if at all possible, let them do this game at home. Okay, and a few items also are introduced. Okay, which is the product of this game. Okay, and that also is the learners are asked to use this in context. The last part is an editing task. Okay, this is what an editing task. This is an imaginary editing. This is not the editing of learners' own products, but an erroneous product is given, and let them edit. Underlined words are there. Words underlined are to be changed to make this passage meaningful. Let them edit and rewrite. Okay, you need not go for your suggestion with the editing. Let them do it, and after that, after doing the activity, even now the problem is you are doing all these classes online, so that let the learners do the activities and take the images of their activities from the textbook and let them post in your class groups. Okay, let them post in the class groups. After that, in the next class, you may have an interaction with the learners on this editing task. Okay, what else? Do you have any other suggestion, etc., etc.? You can ask the learners, do you have any other suggestion, any other choices of a better word, etc., etc.? You can ask. After that, the teacher may present teacher's version as well. There is a project work also. Project work, a small project. Okay, it's actually, it is if you exactly say, or if you ask, is this exactly a project work? It is not exactly a project work. It is a word level project work. Okay, that's all. Then they are asked to. They are in the first of all, in this activity, a tongue twister is introduced. It is just for fun or for arousing the interest of the learner in the activity. That tongue twister is given. She sells seashells on the seashore. Two words are under: seashells, seashore. Okay, these words are related to sea. Okay, many other words are there which are related to sea. Okay, can you say one word? Your seashells, seashore. Any other word related to sea? Any other word related to sea?
Scenery, sir.
Scenery is not sea. This is C. That means
Fish.
sea,
Seaside.
seaside. Okay, seaside. Okay.
Seashore.
Seagull. Seashore is there.
Seabed.
Seagull.
Sea fish.
Sea fish.
Sea water.
Sea water. So a few words you can develop. Like that, the learner may ask to develop words associated with river. Okay, riverbank, riverside, etc., etc. Like desert, rain, sky, mountain, they can develop. So this is what expansion of words. Okay, it is an activity which help the learners to expand their vocabulary. Okay, so small activity, one of the activities which expands the vocabulary of the learners. Let them do it. After that comes the self-assessment page of the learner. Self-assessment page. I told you, assessment is a integral part of each and every learning process. At the time of interaction, at the time of individual reading, how many learners are reading with comprehension, and how many are not reading with comprehension, how many didn't get the central ideas. All these are points of assessment, and these assessment points can be noted in the assessment part of your teaching manual. Okay, there is a teaching manual, you know that. You write teaching manuals, yes?
Yes, sir.
In the teaching manual, on one side, it is the process part, process or activities. How you write, I don't know. Process or activity column. The second column is assessment. And in each and every process, there is a scope for assessment. That is what you call continuous and comprehensive evaluation or assessment. In all the processes, you should find a slot for assessment. And how will you record this assessment? Recording assessment is a challenging task for the teachers. Very much challenging task, I know. So at the point of interaction, how will you assess? You can only quantitatively assess what the assessment during the interaction process, that how many of them responded well. For example, 15 children responded well, but 10 children responded partially, and 15 children need improvement. Like that, quantitative assessment is possible there. And sometimes there may be an excellent or extraordinary response from a brilliant child. Then you can highlight that in your assessment. So these are all assessment processes. So everywhere there is a portfolio assessment. That also is a portfolio. There is assessment of learning, portfolio assessment, class tests, unit tests, and term evaluation. All are assessment of learning. Okay, assessment of learning. Now, there are assessment for learning and assessment as learning. The learner's self-assessment and learner's assessment, peer assessment, all are assessment as learning. They themselves assess and they themselves learn from that. Okay, here this is self-assessment. Let the learners do this part on his own, on her own. Okay, sincerely. Okay, there are 3 points of 3 levels of assessment. I can do it well. I can do with the help of others. And I need improvement. So there are 3 points of assessment, 3 levels of assessment. Let the learners assess himself as where he stands in a particular activity. For example, participate in conversations, discussions, and debates. How the learner assess himself, whether he thinks that he can do it well, whether he thinks that he needed the help of others, whether he thinks that he need improvement. Okay, let the learners assess. There are assessment points, a few assessment points given here. What make presentations in the class, follow the instructions, etc. Let the learners go through all these things and assess himself. Next is a teacher assessment. In this class, in Standard 5, we have given a teacher assessment page also, My Learners. This is what assessment of learning. Okay, then what my learners can do after this unit. And these assessment points are more or less based on the learning outcomes. Learning outcomes defined in the beginning of the unit. I told you, each and every unit expects some learning outcomes from the learners. And they are defined in the beginning of the unit. And these assessments are based on the learning outcomes, what my learners can after processing the unit. Again, one more, a glossary is given. I told you this glossary is only what a few selected words, the meanings of only a few selected words from the whole unit. Okay, the whole unit. Okay, now the word is given as if it is given, almost as if it is given in a dictionary. The word class is given. For example, annoy, it is verb. Okay, like that. Word class is given and the meaning. Okay, one there is the meaning which is relevant here. Okay, a word has a lot of meanings in different contexts. Okay, but here the meaning is given what is relevant in the text given. Okay, so ask the learners to use the glossary when they make their individual readings. This is very important. Let them make use of glossary. And not only glossary is only what the first step, and let them keep also a dictionary for further reference or further understanding of words. Let them keep a dictionary as well. So see, remember, this should be fostered in the learners. A reference skill is a very important skill which is to be developed in the learner. Reference skill. Let them refer to the glossary. Let them refer many reference materials as possible as they can, wherever they get a chance to refer to something. For example, even a Google search is a reference. Nowadays, a reference has become so easy. You know that. If you give a Google search to any idea, any concept, any word, you will get a lot of things. May not be what the ultimate thing that you may need, but you will get a lot of information about anything in Google. So reference is that easy nowadays. Okay, so remember, always foster, develop a reference skill in learners. Now, in the end, there is a teacher's page. In the teacher's page, what we have discussed till now about the process, about the role of the teacher in the classroom, everything is given in detail. ഈ പറഞ്ഞ കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഏകദേശം അത് തന്നെ, അതിൽ ചെറിയൊരു വ്യത്യാസമൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടാവും. ഇപ്പോൾ ഇതിന്റെ ഒരു തീമിൽ ചെറിയൊരു ഡിഫറൻസ് ഇവിടെ നിങ്ങൾ കാണുമായിരിക്കും. നിങ്ങൾ ഇപ്പോൾ സോഴ്സ് ബുക്കിൽ ടീച്ചേഴ്സ് ടെക്സ്റ്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരു സപ്പോർട്ടിംഗ് മെറ്റീരിയൽ ഉണ്ട്. യു മേ നോട്ട്, സംടൈംസ് യു ഡിഡ്ന്റ് ഗെറ്റ് ദാറ്റ് ടീച്ചർ ടെക്സ്റ്റ്. ആർക്കും കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ? Did you ever see your teacher text?
No, sir.
No. There is a support material for the teachers, and in that teacher text, everything is given in detail. That means the approach, the methodology, and the premises in which the textbooks are developed, assessments, everything. That is one part. Another part, each and every unit, how to process each and every unit, what are the learning outcomes of the each and every unit, everything is given in the teacher text. Okay. Well, you don't worry about that, because the gist of what is given in the teacher text is given in the teacher's page. Okay. അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു രത്നച്ചുരുക്കം എന്ന് വേണമെങ്കിൽ പറയാം, ഇതിൻ്റെ അകത്ത് കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്, ടീച്ചേഴ്സ് പേജിലുണ്ട്. അതാണ് നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്തു. എങ്ങനെയാണ് ലേണേഴ്സിന് ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റ് ഉണ്ടാക്കുക, എങ്ങനെയാണ് ലേണേഴ്സിനെ ഒരു തീമിലേക്ക് ലീഡ് ചെയ്യുക, എന്താണ് ഇന്ററാക്ഷൻ്റെ റോൾ, എന്താണ്, വാട്ട് ഇസ് ദ റോൾ ഓഫ് ഇന്ററാക്ഷൻ, ഹൗ ടു ഇന്ററാക്ട് വിത്ത് ദ ചിൽഡ്രൻ, അതെല്ലാം വലിയ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട്. എങ്ങനെയാണ് ലാംഗ്വേജ് ആക്ടിവിറ്റി ഡീൽ ചെയ്യുന്നത്, നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ പറഞ്ഞ കാര്യം. പിന്നെ ലാംഗ്വേജ് ഗെയിംസ് ആൻഡ് വൊക്കാബുലറി ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസ് എങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യും, തിയേറ്റർ ഗെയിംസ് എങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും, ലേണർ അസസ്മെന്റ് എങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും, ഇപ്പോൾ പറഞ്ഞ കാര്യങ്ങൾ ഇതിൻ്റെ അകത്തുണ്ട്. ദെൻ ആൻഡ് ഓൾസോ how to use information and technology, information communication technology. That is what we are doing right now, even right now. ഇപ്പൊ തന്നെ നമ്മൾ അതാ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ ആൻഡ് കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേഷൻ ടെക്നോളജി ഉപയോഗിക്കാൻ പറ്റും. That is, you may use the possibility of maximum possibility of using digital materials, videos, visuals, and printed pages, okay, graphics, all you can use in the online classes. Not that you can use, you must use. Okay, to make online classes interesting, this is one possibility. Okay, use videos, visuals, songs as far as possible. Okay, so that also is given in the teacher page. So we have discussed this first unit, how to process a unit in detail. Okay, it is almost in the same way that you are supposed to process the second unit. Okay, it is in the same way. Let us go to the second unit. Second unit is the title of the second unit. What is the title of the second unit?
Letter to God.
Letter to God. Okay, straight away I will show you what are the themes, what are the themes, what are the discourses, what are the activities, and what are the learning outcomes, what focused in this unit. Let me show you that page of the teacher text. Okay, of the unit 2. Well, 1 minute. Oh. I think this. Okay, look at this. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Team, concept, skills, etc. given there. That is team, sense of faith, value, and culture. You can see that. And the discourses involved in this unit? Discourse and activities. Okay. Story, poem, letter, report, expressions which appeals to senses. All the discourses and activities are given. And the language elements focused in this unit, adjectives, degree of comparison. I wish I had. Conjunction. Even though it is given in as adjectives, conjunctions and all, you need not tell the learners that you had to study adjectives, you had to study conjunctions and all. You're not presenting to the learners saying that it is a conjunction, but you are giving an experience, contextual experience of conjunction, adjectives, etc. Okay, you need only give contextual experience of what this learning of language elements. In the last column, you see the learning outcomes focused in this unit. And you need not go into detail on that. The learning outcomes are given in the first part of the textbook itself, in the unit itself. Okay. Learning out. No, it is not given in the textbook. It is in the teacher texts. A few learning outcomes are given there. Okay. You have to take these learning outcomes as the goals that you have to achieve, or goals you have to seek, not achieve. അതായത് ഈ ലേണിംഗ് ഔട്ട്കംസ് പിന്നെ ഒരു ഒബ്ജക്റ്റീവ് ആയിട്ടല്ല എടുക്കുന്നത്. ഈ ലേണിംഗ് ഔട്ട്കംസ് ആണ് നമ്മൾ സീക്ക് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്. Because these learning outcomes are not mere learning outcomes that is to be achieved in this unit itself. ഈ യൂണിറ്റിൽ തന്നെ അച്ചീവ് ചെയ്തു എന്ന് ഉറപ്പുവരുത്താനല്ല ഈ ലേണിംഗ് ഔട്ട്കംസ് കൊടുക്കുന്നത്. ഈ ലേണിംഗ് ഔട്ട്കംസ് വീണ്ടും റെക്കർ ചെയ്ത് വരുന്നതാണ്. ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ, പാർട്ടിസിപ്പേറ്റ് ഇൻ ഡിസ്കഷൻസ്. അത് ഈ യൂണിറ്റിൽ മാത്രമല്ല, in the next unit also that will be there. And reads and enjoy the humor in the story Letter to God. Other specific. Develops a sense of values and culture. Okay, through reading, birthday letter, adivide. But developing values and culture is a permanent outcome that we seek. Alle? Am I right or not? Developing values, that is somewhat a long-standing objective. Am I right or not?
Right, sir.
That is it. So you have to. It is you're not expected to achieve this in this unit itself. Okay. Well, that is it. If possible, you can have this one in your video, and the first unit's learning outcome also. This is the first unit. Okay, that also I will show you, because that will also come in your video later on. I hope so that you can watch it later. Look at this. This is the first unit. Unit frame. This is the unit frame. Okay. What? Sense of imagination, warmth of human relations, and fantasy, as we discussed. and the discourses and activities are there in the second column, language elements in the third column, learning outcomes in the fourth column. Okay, now let us come to this unit. The first one, the title of the unit is Letter to God. Letter to God. See, the title itself is a curious one. Don't you think so?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this title arouses curiosity. Letter to God. And ask the learners, do you write letters to God? You can elicit responses from the learners. Okay, very often the children may say, no, we never. Well, do you ask anything to God? Or do you talk to God? ഇതൊക്കെ കുട്ടിയോട് ചോദിക്കാവുന്ന ചോദ്യം. നിങ്ങൾ ദൈവത്തോട് സംസാരിക്കാറുണ്ടോ? കത്ത് പോട്ടെ, സംസാരിക്കാറുണ്ടോ? ദൈവത്തിൽ നിന്ന് പരാതിപ്പെടാറുണ്ടോ? ചോദിക്കാറുണ്ടോ? പരിഭവിക്കാറുണ്ടോ? അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ ചോദിക്കാം. You can arouse the curiosity and interest and in the learners. Okay. Is it not possible? Is it not possible to ask these kinds of questions, learners? Yes, it is possible. It is possible, and it will be interesting as well, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so initiate such a discussion in the class. Okay, letter to God. Okay, now the entry to this unit is in the form of a poem. So we not only we speak to, you may by way of interaction, you may ask the learners, do you talk to God? Do you interact with God? Do you complain to God? And do you write letters to God? And after that, and to what else do you talk? Do you talk to the trees, the birds, rain, for that matter, wind? ഇതിനോടൊക്കെ സംസാരിക്കാറുണ്ടോ? ഇതൊക്കെ എന്താണ് അവരുടെ ക്യൂരിയോസിറ്റി എറൗസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ചോദ്യങ്ങളാണ്. നിങ്ങൾ കാറ്റിനോട് സംസാരിക്കാറുണ്ടോ? നിങ്ങൾ മഴയോട് സംസാരിക്കാറുണ്ടോ? നിങ്ങൾ വെയിലിനോട് സംസാരിക്കാറുണ്ടോ? മഴയെ ഇപ്പൊ വേണ്ട കേട്ടോ, നമുക്ക് കളിക്കാനുള്ളതാണ്. ഇങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ പരിഭവിക്കാറുണ്ടോ? ഓക്കെ, റെയിൻ റെയിൻ ഗോ എവേ ഒരു കുട്ടിയുടെ പാട്ടാണ്. അപ്പൊ അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ you can interact. Then you may ask, here a girl is talking to someone. Do you know who the girl is talking to? Who the girl is talking to?
Windy.
Is she talking to the wind? Do you see something else in white colors?
Clouds.
Clouds. Okay. He's talking to the clouds, white clouds. Okay. And she addressed these clouds in some other way. Okay. Okay. You may ask the learners also, do you see white clouds in the sky? Okay. That you can ask to the learners, do you see white clouds? And in what shapes do you see the white clouds? എന്തെല്ലാം രൂപത്തിൽ നിങ്ങൾ വൈറ്റ് ക്ലൗഡ്സിനെ കാണാറുണ്ട്? Do you see white clouds in the form of an elephant? Do you see white clouds in the form of a rat or a sheep? Like that. Okay. Now here, a girl is talking to the clouds as white sheep. Okay, white sheep. Now, after this much interactions, you may ask the learners to read the poem individually. Okay, ഇത്രയും ഡിസ്കഷന് ശേഷം നിങ്ങൾ ഇൻഡിവിജ്വൽ ആയിട്ട് വായിക്കാൻ പറയും poem. After that, you may interact on the content of the poem. Who is the poet talking to? What do you think is the white sheep? Okay. Who does the poet address as white sheep? The poet is addressing the clouds as white sheep. Okay. So white sheep is a metaphor here, right? White sheep. You need not tell about metaphor and all. To the learner, it's a metaphor. White sheep on a blue hill. And after this, you can present the recitation of this poem in the form of a video. I will show you a sample video. Many videos are available in YouTube. You can take from. I will show you a sample one. That's all. One minute. It is a presentation of the video. It is a learner who presents this.
On a blue hill, when the wind stops, you all stand still. When the wind blows, you walk very slow. White sheep, where do you go? Let us repeat. White sheep on a blue hill. When the wind stops, you all stand still. When the wind blows, you walk very slow. White sheep, where do you go? Dear children, now we are done with assignment number 1. You have to read and learn the poem.
Okay, that's enough. Because you need not go to the explanations in the video. You may interact on your own. Okay. You need only present the recitation of that small poem 2 times. That's enough. And you can interaction. You can do the interaction on your own. Okay. So this is how a poem is processed. The next one is a story written by Fuentes. Letter to God. Letter to God. Okay, letter to God. Well, 1 minute. Letter to God. And the first title is Letter to God. The title is The Pleasure of Rain. The Pleasure of Rain. Okay. Now, I would like to ask you, there is one film star who has presented God writing a letter to him, and he writing letters to God. Do you know who he is? നമ്മൾ മീഡിയയിലൊക്കെ യൂട്യൂബിലൊക്കെ വൈറലായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ദൈവത്തിന് ഒരു കത്തെഴുതുന്ന ഒരു ഫിലിം സ്റ്റാർ ഉണ്ട്. മോഹൻലാൽ, യെസ്. അപ്പൊ അത് വേണമെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അതിന്റെ ഒരു പാർട്ട് എടുത്തിട്ട് കുട്ടികൾക്ക് കാണിച്ചു കൊടുക്കുകയും ചെയ്യാം. ഓക്കെ, അത് ഞാനിപ്പോ ഡൗൺലോഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ല. അപ്പൊ അത് വേണമെങ്കിൽ കാണിച്ചു കൊടുക്കാം, മോഹൻലാൽ. ഓക്കെ, അത് ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റിംഗ് ആണ്. കുട്ടികളുടെ ആ ലെവലിലല്ല, കുറെ ഉയർന്ന കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ പറയുന്നുണ്ടാവുമായിരിക്കും എങ്കിൽ പോലും. Okay, so letter to God. Now here there is a picture here. Somebody is hailing something. That means he is raising his hands with excitement, happiness in the air, and it is raining, and he is watching the valley below. Okay, you may have an interaction on this picture. Who do you think you see in the picture? Why is he raising his hands in the air? What is he watching? what do you see in the valley, etc., etc. You may interact. Then let us see who he is and what is he watching. നമുക്ക് അയാൾ ആരാണ്, എന്താണ് അയാൾ വാച്ച് ചെയ്യുന്നത് കാണാം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് you may ask the learners to read first 2 or 3 paragraphs. No, first part of it, pleasure in rain. First part of it. ആദ്യ ഭാഗം വായിക്കാൻ പറയാ individually, and then you interact for scaffolding the understanding of the learners. And after the interaction, you may read, you may give a loud reading of it. And you remember, in the margin, there are a few questions. These questions also, you can use these questions also in your interaction, but learners are expected to respond in writing the answers of these questions in their notebook. Okay. They are to write the answers of these 4 questions in their notebook after processing each section. Let them write these answers and take the images they are writing and post in your class-wise groups. This is the process you can follow. And after that, you go to the next part, the night of sorrow. Okay. Lencho is the main character in this. Lencho is a farmer, and he has planted some wheat in the seeds in the valley, and he's waiting for the rain to come and sprout the seeds. But what happens is that night, in a night of sorrow. Now you may ask you may interact on this title. Why is he sorrow? Why he's sorry? What might have happened? Let them read. You know the story. I know. I'm not going into the story. I'm only discussing processes because it is almost time. So do the same process with this section also, night of sorrow. And let the learners answer in writing to the questions given in margin. And the next part is at the post office. Lancho goes to the post office writing a letter. His crops are spoiled, so he's writing a letter to God. Oh God, I have lost all my crops, so please send me 100 pesos. Like, let them read this part, process, and interact using all these pictures. ഈ ചിത്രത്തിനൊക്കെ ബേസ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾ interaction നടത്തണം. If you are doing online, you can do online interaction. അത് ചെയ്യണം. And after that, God replies. That part also is to be processed in the same way. And as I told you, approach the writing exercises, discourse exercises, as I told you earlier. Okay. And there is an extended reading, birthday letter. As I told you, extended reading for themselves to read on their own. Let them read this on their own or with the help of their parents. And or after that, you can use this as a listening text. You can present this with proper tone variation and intonation and all the emotive elements as is present in the letter. Let them listen to this letter, and after that you interact with the learners, and then let them respond. Okay. And then what the activities, as I told you, what the activities are to be processed as we have discussed earlier. Okay. Proper interaction, proper introduction, and present the activities in context. And there is another poem in this section. I wrote myself a letter. This is also a letter. Okay. Somebody is writing a letter. Then here also you can make some interesting interaction with the learners. Who do you write letters to? You can ask the learners. ആർക്കാണ് നിങ്ങൾ letters എഴുതാറ്? They will say, our friend, father, etc., etc. And then you can ask the learners, do you write letters to yourself? Do you like right? Then they will they will wonder, letters to ourselves. Why should we write letters to ourselves? നമുക്ക് തന്നെ കത്തെഴുതോ? നമ്മളെന്തിനാ കത്തെഴുതുന്നത് എന്നൊക്കെ ചോദിക്കും. So that's a curious thing. That is not an normal thing. Okay, strange thing. So അങ്ങനെ ഒരു strange feeling ഉണ്ടാക്കിയിട്ട് here is a man introduced. Here is a man who is writing a letter to himself. But do you know what is the outcome? Let us read the poem. അങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് പോയമിലേക്ക് വരും. He is writing a letter to himself. He wrote a letter. He posted, but he can't wait. He couldn't wait for the letter to reach him. So he next day, very early, he went to the post office and received the letter and opened the letter. But it is then that he understood that he cannot read. അത് വായിക്കാൻ അറിയില്ലല്ലോ എന്ന്. അതിൽ കുറച്ചൊരു പിന്നെ ഹയർ എലമെന്റ് ഉണ്ട്. അതായത് ഹി ഈസ് റൈറ്റിംഗ് എ ലെറ്റർ. അയാളെ കുറിച്ച് എഴുതി, പക്ഷെ അയാൾക്ക് മനസ്സിലാക്കേണ്ടതൊന്നും മനസ്സിലാക്കിയിട്ടില്ല. ഓക്കെ, അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെയുള്ള സംഭവങ്ങളുണ്ട്. അത് കുട്ടികളുടെ ലെവലിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് സെൻസിറ്റൈസ് ചെയ്യാം. ഓക്കെ, ഗോ ടു ദ activities. As I told you, a few activities are there, and pictures. Many activities are supported with graphics and cartoons. Okay, that will be very helpful for the learner. So almost all activities have pictures in them, and with the help of these pictures, they can do these activities well. A number of activities are there. Let them do these activities, but introduce these activities properly. Okay, in the end, there is self-assessment page and also teacher assessment page. Okay, teacher assessment page and a glossary. As I told you, always encourage the learners to use the glossary in all their reading processes. Okay. Well, these are a few basic things you should remember when you process a unit in your classroom. Okay. A few basic things. And to plan it, okay, it is not enough. You must plan your lessons well using the teacher texts if it is available for you, and if not, using the tips you get. I don't know what tips you got from my sessions. Use the tips you got from my session and plan your lessons accordingly in writing, and then present the lessons. Okay, that's all for the time being. I can tell you it is almost time for you to leave, and thank you for listening to me, and I hope this will be useful. Do you have any feedback to me? What is your feedback? What is your feedback on the 2 sessions? No feedbacks? You didn't get any idea?
Yes, sir. We got.
Okay.
It was very nice.
Can you at least switch on your videos, all of you? Let me see your faces. You are watching my faces, my face all this time. Let me see, who are you? Nobody's trying to come forward. Hiding somewhere.
Sir,
No,
sir,
sir.
sir,
Okay.
sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sir, I got correct idea how to tackle some problems if you are facing in our class. It was good
Okay,
class,
okay.
sir.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Good idea how to tackle some problems we are facing in our class. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. You see, this is only for me to understand whether it is useful for you or not. That's all. Okay.
Yes, sir. Your presentation was
Yeah.
useful.
Okay. 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 Use it also. Okay. It is not enough that it is useful. Use it in the classroom. Practice this in the classroom because this is my textbook.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Well, okay. Welcome.
Okay, sir.
So,
Thank
okay,
you.
let's stop here then. I'm signing up
Thank you.
because it is time. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.